Okay, so we started with praying for each person in our group, and we took a lot of time doing this. Actually, we finished. When we finished, we didn't really have time to pray a lot for the movement like that. But our time of prayer, praying for each other, was really beautiful because it's quite amazing how God reveals things to people that's so encouraging to you, and it's really nice the way that he speaks through people, especially when they have a really deep knowledge of the Word of God. So we had Sister Linda in our group, and she knows a lot about the Bible. So the way that God is speaking through her is so beautiful, with Bible characters as examples, and it was really nice. And we got messages about so when we're praying for each other, I'm not going to pick each person because I might not get it right for what we got for each person. But so suffering, how suffering doesn't always have to be that we take 10 days of just prayer and fasting. It doesn't just have to be that. Suffering can be done through little things, like Saint Teresa of Lisieux, when she'd pick up a leaf or something, or do something really little, she'd offer that to God as a sacrifice for a soul. So little sufferings, the little way of doing things as well, which is also beautiful, along with obviously doing the big things as well. And being a witness, and this kind of came up about through prayer, being a witness in the way that we carry ourselves, the way that we dress, as intercessors, as youth ministers. That was quite interesting, and how sometimes people might look at us and kind of, even something when you go back home to Kerala, how people might expect you to be, but you can be countercultural and you can witness through that. So you don't have to go with what the world is doing. You witness by being different to the world. So basically Romans 12:2, what we were talking about yesterday, not conforming to the standards of the world. And then today's Holy Mass was just really beautiful because God is speaking very clearly, and he was just kind of I don't know, today's Holy Mass experience was just really beautiful. I feel like I've got that love back for the Holy Mass, because so I started going every day, but then it kind of became a habit, something that was done because I do it, and then if I didn't do it, I would just feel like, oh no, I didn't go today. But that wasn't, so doing things out of love again, and that kind of, so I was praying for that desire, that to have that love back for the Holy Mass. So today's was just really beautiful, actually. Today's Holy Mass was just beautiful. And so what I was saying earlier about how God speaks to other people for you, to encourage you. So when Sister and Ajish were praying for me, the examples they got were Saint Teresa of Lisieux and Mary Magdalene, and I love both of these people. So it's quite amazing how God speaks like that through other people. And then we would kind of, the idea of being apologists, that's the right word, I think, apologists. So defending the faith and how important that is. Because I'm just going to mention this just because I'm not sure if we'll get around to telling people individually, but I was having a conversation with Dr. Jacob in which he mentioned 2 books. One is called Hard Sayings. And the other is Daily Defense of the Faith. And so these 2 books, one of them is, maybe Sharon, you can come up and explain later, but basically it's just defending the faith and little aspects of the faith and how you can defend the faith in a way that is using reason and logic. And when we were praying, so we didn't actually get a lot of time towards the end to pray for the movement as such, but one of the things that we got was Psalm 119 verse 9, which is so how can the young walk without fault? Only by keeping your words. And so this idea, and in another Bible version it was how can the young be pure? By guarding their path through your words, or something like that. And that was just so amazing, because the whole idea of purity, how do we stay pure, and knowing the Word of God and the importance of us knowing it in the ministry as well, that came up. And it was really amazing when the group earlier confirmed it. They said Psalm 24, 3-4, which was basically the same thing, being pure, walking God's way. And just one last thing, I think that we got was we saw like a blank name board, and so just a blank board, but it was like a name board. There wasn't like a name written on it, and then we kind of towards the end kind of realized that maybe God is saying that you might not be known and be popular in the eyes of the world through the way that you are, but your name is written in the book of God. Like, so, yeah, and yeah, that was that.
And
I sort of shared about the Holy Mass experience today. Yeah, and I also liked how you were talking about how before you go and preach somewhere, God is preparing the hearts of the people. That was really beautiful, actually, because God is preparing, and then God is speaking through you, and so it's just that's really great because we don't have to do anything really. At the end of the day, God speaks through us, and yeah, that was that. Yeah, did I miss
speak
anything?
something about your personal impression about the whole retreat. What have you gained?
I think I have gained more of like a desire to have wisdom, because like I think yesterday one of the things that was said was wisdom is the mother of all things. You know, everything comes from wisdom. So desiring wisdom is just the start of everything else. Yeah.
Very good. Thank you.